Hello, everyone. Welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. I am back from Washington, D.C., where I'm still dripping wet, and I was inside. So you can imagine how everybody was outside. Packers just kind of are all wet. About all you can say about them after that game, huh?
Yeah, I used to hear that a lot in Fat Albert. I think coming this game, if you looked at Washington on tape when they played the Colts, you saw a team that wasn't very good. They didn't kick field goals, lost 21-9 or something like that, and didn't have a sellout for the first time. Or just a lot of bad stuff going on. So they get a team that had played one half of football good, another half of football, pretty decent, and won 0-1, and they looked a little vulnerable. It just seemed like to me that the communication on this team is not getting through to the guys, just starting with the defense, because you see some of the same mistakes. Missed tackles, stuff like that, it's part of the game. They get paid too, but it just seemed like some of the missed tackles are coming in spots that the big plays just are so glaring. And some of the same things. And to be honest with you, Tom, it's been the same guys. So I don't know what the coaches got to do to make sure these guys understand it. In my estimation, if you're a coach that yells a lot, maybe you should tone it down. If you're a coach that is way too quiet, maybe you need to ratchet it up. Because something is not getting over to the guys. If they tell you we have quarters and you got to be deepest to deepest and you aren't, it's a miscommunication problem, and it's a problem with the fundamentals. That's why when you guys were writing all this about the defense could be top 5, top 10, I was like, hey, calm down.
I said that?
Not you,
anyway,
but in the media,
yes,
not you.
They were all excited about it.
They were excited about it, and I think Aaron said some stuff. They gave him some. I mean, all that takes time to kind of gel, really.
Well, and it still comes down to players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Players trump a scheme every time.
Yes.
The better your players, the better your scheme is,
Yeah, and I can understand that because Minnesota probably has the best roster, and they got killed by the Bills.
Yeah.
So sometimes, even if you have the players, you just play down to the other team's level and you get beat, and sometimes beat badly. But the thing about the Washington game, you still had a chance to win these games.
Winnable, yeah.
Yes, because you dropped a lot of passes. I mean, sure-handed receivers dropping passes when Jordan Reed didn't have gloves on, and he caught the
That's
passes.
an excellent point. I mean, how is it that a team that trains in Green Bay can't handle weather conditions?
That's something that McCarthy, I'm sure, is talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Washington handled the conditions way better than Green Bay did.
Yeah, it seemed like that.
I don't think they had any drops. I don't recall any drops.
Well, not any glaring drops. I mean,
Washington?
No, not at all. Both tight ends, one is always hurt, and one is supposed to be an older guy. They had a field day.
They did.
And then you got receivers only had one catch for 40-something yards, but it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things, and we're going to talk about it, X's and O's, lining up properly, communication. You see Tremont Williams saying somebody should help me in the middle, where he's pointing, indicating that, and it doesn't transfer to the safety, and then the middle's wide open, and you get a touchdown.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Before you even get into the Clay Matthews tackle and all that, because I think sometimes the game gets lost when you talk about the rules of the tackling and stuff like that. Yeah.
We'll get into it in a minute. Two things I want to address was, and this is not to make an excuse for either team, believe me. It was strange to me that both Green Bay and Minnesota played terrible following that overtime game. Now, Green Bay did not practice on Wednesday. He gave them the day. Well, he can give them the day off, but they didn't practice.
Right.
Practice Thursday, no Rodgers. Practice Saturday, a little bit of Rodgers. That's kind of
I understand.
It's an advanced walkthrough. It's not a walkthrough, but it's a little more than that. I wonder if their offensive struggles have to do with not practicing?
Well, for veterans, though, veterans are used to that. But for the young guys, absolutely. Young guys, they need to always be moving around. So sometimes what McCarthy will do, learn in the future, he'd give the veterans guys tone it down a little bit to get healthy. But the younger guys, nope, we're ratcheting up and we're practicing because those guys there's no off and on button. It's just flipped on. Yeah. It should never be an off button for those guys because some young guys are going to have to play, especially on the offensive line. Balaga's a little banged up. I mean, you may have a couple guys on that offensive line.
Justin McCray's banged up,
and he's
too.
banged up, well, so you have to put some guys in there that, and then you got your quarterbacks not real mobile. Yeah. I mean, it's some recipe that, and I hear the thing about Aaron Rodgers. I don't necessarily worry about Aaron Rodgers because he knows the system as far as the whole week.
Right.
But I really thought they were going to use Aaron Jones more than 6 carries to just kind of get the ball moving.
Well, he comes in the game, he has a 10-yard run.
Yes.
Then he has an 8-yard run. Yep. And then he has a 17-yard run later, and then he only carries 3 other times.
Yeah.
Now, I understand they don't want to wear him into the ground, but he certainly looked spry and healthy and pretty explosive to me.
Well, Chicago, who's in first place, by the way, they ran Khalil Mack in the ground his first game.
That's right.
He didn't have no practice.
Yeah.
You just play your guys. But he can't. The problem with Aaron Jones is protection. If you throw the ball a bunch of times while he's in there, they're going to just run right over him.
They're going to try.
Right. So he has to
pass
protect
it.
better.
Run it every
down.
down.
Then you're sitting up. You're almost like predictable. He's in the air. They're going to run the ball.
It doesn't seem to matter.
It really doesn't. And I think it gives the offensive lineman a chance to not only get some rest, but get some payback from guys just pass rushing all the time.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think I could see, without words, the frustration in their eyes that they threw 47 times and ran 17.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
ridiculous. You would think 10 to 15 of those targets would be to Jimmy Graham because Washington notably were going to get the ball to their tight end.
Yeah.
You have to design a system where you get a tight end that big to get open, put him in motion, split him out wide, see how the matchups look. And in the red zone, he should be the only guy split out wide. You throw it up high, let him go get it like he used to do back in New Orleans. Yeah. And they may be doing some of that. They may be doubling him. But looking at the film, it just seemed like he's a little wasted target at times. So they got to get Jimmy Graham going.
I think he probably, and he and Rodgers are veterans, but they might suffer the most from not practicing together because they're still learning each other,
That's a possibility.
This is part of it, You got to know what Rodgers is going to do and when he's going to do They had an RPO where Devontae Adams wasn't ready for it. I don't know if you noticed it. It was an Aaron Jones run, and he pulled it up, and Devontae Adams was blocking, and Rodgers turned to throw to him, and then remember he scrambled to the left and got like 2 yards or something because he wanted to throw it, but. I think between Rodgers and McCarthy, they have to come to some kind of agreement, some kind of commitment to the running game.
Yeah. Even when you're behind.
Together.
Right.
Because
even when you're behind,
Rodgers has all those opportunities to change plays and RPOs and all that kind of stuff, and he likes to throw the ball.
Yeah.
He sees a throwing opportunity. Sometimes you just need to run it.
Yeah, and sometimes matchups are so good, you'll take the opportunity of being in your best player's hands. But I get the fact, because Jamal Williams, he ran the ball very well, too.
He did.
It's a good matchup.
He's a tough guy. Yeah. And Ty Montgomery had more yards than anybody except for Geronimo Allison.
Yep. In the passing game.
Yeah, he had 6 catches.
So each guy has a role. You got to use, I can't believe we're saying use the backs more, but you have to use the backs more.
Maybe they need to play Jones and Williams, Jones and Montgomery together some.
Oh, that may be a possibility.
Because
they're going to always get a nice matchup with a linebacker or a safety. You would like that matchup.
Yeah. Last point about that game was that, before we talk about the Matthews thing, is that this was a game where Aaron Rodgers needed help. He's usually the one who's coming through for them, but this was a game where he needed someone to come through for him. and it didn't happen.
Yeah,
I mean, he wasn't playing that well, but he needed Kendricks to catch that one ball.
Yes,
he needed Cobb to catch that 1 3rd down and 1 4th down ball. Just to keep drives going.
You're right about that. That keeps the rhythm going, and it just seemed like Kendricks had some bad drops going all the way back to preseason.
Yeah,
and you would wonder why you kept so many tight ends, but that's going to give other people a chance to play. Because trust me, McCarthy wants to put the best people out there. He has a short fuse for mistakes like that. Fundamental stuff. Stuff that's what make coaches pull their hair out. But if you're the secondary coach on this team, you have to wonder, what else do I need to do if I'm telling these guys to line up properly to do it? Because the safeties are not playing well at all.
No.
They're just not. And I think it's hurting the team right now.
He said the whole, Patton has said over and over again, the whole thing is not to let the big play. This whole defense is structured that you don't give up the big play, and that's all they're doing the last couple of weeks.
When did he tell you that?
He has said that in camp. I think it was even week 1 he said that the whole concept, they will give something underneath rather than something behind them.
Nothing 75 yards,
right.
Nothing 50. Okay.
Apparently the players misunderstood that and said it's okay to give something over our heads, but
but if you don't have pass rush, that you're going to see a lot of that. Buffalo's going to come and throw it deep.
Yes,
why wouldn't you? He got a rookie, just chunk it deep, see what happens.
I mean, what's the difference between the ball they threw to Stephon Diggs last week and the ball they threw to Paul Richardson? I mean, they're just saying, let's do that. We saw it, and Buffalo's going to say the same thing, right?
Yeah, because you get a pass interference or you're going to get a touchdown. And those are the only two things. So both of them are good. Until the guys back there take an understanding, and something you pointed out, the angles is an issue. It was a play by Whitehead. He could have got Alex Smith out for a big 3rd down, but he ran at the wrong angle, and he was able to pick up the 1st down. Those are kind of things. That's the difference between yardage like that being like in the late 20s in defense and being like top 15. That's the difference between going to the Super Bowl, the playoffs, or not even making it. And the reason why I stress the defense so much is because that's all that you heard this offseason. That's the reason why. If you're Dom Capers, though, and this is a good way before we get into Matthews really quick. If you're Dom Capers right now, what are you saying? Come on now, just no spin, be honest. What do you think he's sitting back in his sofa drinking a nice cold one saying,
He's saying,
I don't think I was that bad.
Yeah, or he's saying, hey, sucks to be you.
Yes.
Because that was me last year.
Everything was told it was my fault, my system. Same thing.
Same thing. Now, we will give Patton some benefit that it's only the 3rd game in the system.
That's true.
Okay,
that's
halfway
true.
through the season, stuff's still going on.
That's true.
Then you know
and they're going to get better, but you just hope it's soon.
Maybe they will. Okay, so let's go. So I'm on the plane home, and I hear guys behind me talking about the Matthews play. And one of them's a Bears fan, and they're all agreeing that this was, even the Bears guy was like, they got jobbed on that call. I'm going to tell you that by the letter of the law that this is a penalty. If you're saying anytime a guy lands with all his weight on a quarterback, it's a penalty, then it's a penalty. So do they have to change the rule?
Here's why I think it's stupid, okay? To say don't land on a guy, you basically have to be in the matrix for Matthews to run full speed to make a tackle and hit a guy. His momentum and force is going to make him fall. But he has to push Alex Smith to the side, and he gets hurt on the ground. It's just stupid. When I first heard about the rule, I just said the arrogance of the NFL is going to cost somebody a Super Bowl, a playoff berth, or winning a big game. Because it seemed like when the guy threw Aaron Rodgers on his head, no call. That's why people are pissed off. Now, if he called that a penalty, did he call on Rodgers if the guy threw Rodgers on his head Thanks a lot, Bill. That's a great. Aaron lands on his head, right on his face, and now you say you can't put your weight on him, but you could throw him on his head.
So, you know what the difference, in my opinion, is?
Yeah, let me hear the difference.
Well,
yeah.
all three of Matthews' penalties, the first one was legit.
Oh, yeah.
Happened in a phone booth. They were, maybe that's the wrong word, on an island. All that you could see was him and the quarterback, and it's happening in like slow motion. This happened inside a pile, you know, inside of a crowded area.
I'm not going to curse, but get your tail in position to make the call.
Right.
The only reason why the white cap is back there to watch who?
Right, the quarterback. He said he has 14 things he has to watch.
Child,
did you hear that one?
It's just sometimes you just get a mental lapse. Get your behind in position to follow the quarterback. It's the only reason why you're back there. That's the only hours you brought these referees in here to tell us about this dumb rule, and they can't even explain it right. Then you have to have people like Matthews get frustrated and maybe say something that he'll get fined. But instead of that, they're going to use it as a training tool. Give me a break.
I remember asking the officials come in and talk to the media before the season starts, and I remember asking the official, I can't remember who the referee was, but I said, you know, with this knocking guys to the ground, why don't you just call the guys who you can just tell are pile driving, you know, like Anthony Barr did to Rodgers.
Yep, you can do that.
But he said, no, they can't judge intent. He's like, you know, we can't say, you know, his intent was to drive him into the ground, you know. We're not in the position to judge intent. We're there to judge what we see.
Oh, my goodness.
So I thought that was really interesting that, you know, there's all kinds of judgment calls that they have to make, but that's not one they're going to make. So if you land on the quarterback with all your weight, it's a penalty.
Well, what's going to happen is Mike Daniels comes through, hit Kirk Cousins and pulls up. Kirk Cousins still has the ball and runs. And what's going to happen is guys are just going to go in and just push the quarterback down.
Yeah.
And he may get hurt even more.
Yeah, I could.
Or you got to do, you take the violence out of it, but you don't take the tackling out of it, but just go for the ball.
Go for the ball, exactly.
Just go for, you see Alex Smith there, slow down, go for the ball. He'll try to protect the ball, and he'll go down.
Right.
That needs to be teach from here on. No more hitting the dummy, going through. It's going to cost us a game. They want to play it like this to protect the one guy, just a quarterback. Everybody else is expendable. So just go in there. You got plenty of time if you get a clean rush and just get the ball out.
And the first time a guy tears his rotator cuff or dislocates his elbow, you know, you have your arm up and you're going to go boom like that. You know, then
that's
what
exactly
are they
right.
Say, you know?
Or you're right to come down on the ball. You know, hurt his throwing arm, and then we'll have a rule by that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I am really for players' safety and for ending concussions.
Yeah, I get it.
But the game, that is the game. And
they don't want to get sued. That's all.
It's
and they got money to pay for all that. To be honest,
they need to be open-minded and stop doubling down on this stuff. You know, like we're all knowing you're wrong, we're right. You know, just shut up and play the game. You know?
That's what they want.
So that's my little rant.
Yeah.
You got anything to add to that? This is your show. I'm sitting here doing all the talking.
No, you did a perfect way of saying it, because they're going to get letters saying they missed a call. Because Aaron Rodgers, to my knowledge, should have been unsportsmanlike, a personal foul or whatever, and they would have been consistent, but they're not. So you just have to live within those rules and play. Because somebody asked me, if I played, would I say absolutely I would know how to play. I would just go for the ball whenever you get quarterbacks, and I wouldn't hit receivers who are not protected. I wouldn't do any of that stuff. That kind of stuff we want out of the game.
You learned your lesson with
Andre Ware.
Andre Ware. You got suspended for a game.
Why you got to bring that up? People could have Googled it.
But you also, in the Super
That's the only time, though.
In the Super Bowl, you took on Dave Meggett, and then you pulled Drew Bledsoe down by his jersey.
Yeah,
now,
that's why you can't horse collar anymore because of that. I was a dirty player.
That wasn't a horse collar. But now nobody goes down as easy as Drew Bledsoe. But still, the point is you had to pull
So
the guy down.
they'll adjust. I just feel bad for Matthews. I really do.
You had some big blindside hits on Steve Young, didn't you?
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, they didn't call any of that.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to. All the referees like me.
Anyway.
But I think the Packers get back on track.
Against a team that just whipped Minnesota.
And, you know, don't take anybody for lightly, but you got to win at home.
Yeah,
and
you
know
got
that.
to.
So I think they'll beat Buffalo. I wanted to say in the 30s, but I didn't want to get outside myself too much. I'm going to say 28-21.
Okay.
Because Buffalo's riding high right now, but it's still a team that's not very good. They got a rookie quarterback. They have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So hopefully a good victory will cure this, because you do not want to have Chicago in first place.
That's pretty interesting right now that Chicago is in first.
They got the best defense, and they run the ball.
And
so,
Detroit just beat New England, so
Yes.
you know this is maybe
so
Green Bay and
is this a must-win?
Minnesota are afterthoughts.
I think all of them are must-win.
All right. Thanks for enduring all our my rants and all that kind of stuff. And we will see you next week after the Buffalo game. And don't forget X's and O's.